Welcome to Promise. I'm Robert Lefever, I'm the director of the Promise Recovery Centre. Over the last 20 years we've treated something over 4,000 people with various forms of addictive or compulsive behaviour. The big three are alcoholism, drug addiction and eating disorders, but obviously we treat the patients and very often they have many different addictions at the same time. So we've got experience of treating all sorts of things, and what we hope in these talks is to be able to give you an insight into what we do and how we help people to get better. Self-esteem. I can't give somebody else self-esteem. It can't be done. But I can show how it is achieved. Self-esteem comes from relationships. John Donne said, "No man is an island." But in our addiction, we isolate ourselves. We put ourselves on self-imposed islands. We put a ring fence around it. You can't hurt me. I'm going to do what I want to do, and you cannot interfere with that. It is my right. Well, right it may be, but you finish up in a pretty lonely place, isolated from other people. One has no self-esteem when the world is becoming progressively lonelier and lonelier and lonelier. We necessarily involve ourselves with other people, and that's exactly what John Donne meant when he said, "No man is an island." We need to interrelate with others if we're going to get our own self-esteem. It isn't just a question of who we're going to take out to supper or who we're going to work with. Our own self-esteem will depend upon our behaviour towards other people. If I am kind, understanding, sympathetic, generous, I will have friends. That is not rocket science. It's what John Cleese would call the bleeding obvious. It's obvious. If I am unpleasant, angry, resentful, mean, nitpicking, I will not have any friends. Again, it's bleeding obvious. The first, I will feel good about myself. The second, I will feel bad about myself. Again, that's not rocket science. If we want to improve our self-esteem, we have to focus upon our relationships with other people and be the people we really can be. Because addiction gets in the way of that and actually prevents us being the people we really can be. It dominates us. It makes us into the very people we hate. And therefore, we have no self-esteem. Addiction is primarily an illness of self-esteem. We cannot live with ourselves. We despise ourselves for very good reason, because we don't like our behavior. We try to justify it. We try to explain it. We try to manipulate things so that it looks okay. We always say, "I haven't done this." To which the counselors answer, "Yeah, you haven't done it yet." You know, we're always moving the boundary. "I don't drink in the morning. I've never been arrested. I don't use drugs." They're all not yets. We're all trying to justify ourselves as we slide further down the slope, so that we get ourselves into progressive more trouble and rationalize it. Well, at least I don't do that. And our self-esteem slips down and slips down and slips down. What happens is that our behavior and our self-esteem work together. When our behavior slips, our self-esteem slips. When our behavior slips again, our self-esteem slips again. And therefore what we have to do is to adjust our values so that when our behavior slips, our values slip. We get a new sense of values so that we can adjust our self-esteem. And our behavior slips again. And our values slip again. That's addiction. Recovery is the opposite. We establish a new set of values, a new sense of self-esteem, and It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. Trying to get our behaviour to match the new set of values, the new set of self-esteem. This is hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done some hard things. You know, you don't survive British private school in a hurry. The work our patients do here is very hard. It's very hard, it's very difficult. Trying to get a new system of values, a new level of self-esteem. The patient said to me earlier today, I'm a devout Christian. I've been a devout Christian since the age of 4. I do not tell lies. You see, his self-esteem is based upon that. The sad thing is that his insight into his behaviour is totally at variance with what his wife says and what his children say. But this is very important. He is not telling a lie. When he says, I only drink 3 glasses of wine a day, he is telling his truth. He is not telling a lie. His whole self-esteem is tied up in that. He does not tell lies. He is telling the truth. The sad thing is that his truth is wrong. This is not my hand, it's not in front of my face. He can't see it. That is the nature of the illness. That's the nature of the psychopathology of denial that we can't see. He has to preserve his self-esteem by any means that he can. Otherwise, what's the alternative? He would see himself as evil. Well, I don't. I see him as not being very well. We see this commonly, every day. The basic psychopathology of addiction is denial. We don't see that we've got it. And therefore, we don't feel that we need treatment for it. I don't take insulin. Why don't I take insulin? Because I haven't got diabetes. And he's saying equally, I don't need to call myself an alcoholic because I'm not. I only drink 3 glasses of wine a day. I'm a devout Christian. I don't tell lies. You see what we're up against? How do you help somebody who doesn't believe he's got a problem? If he's not diabetic, you don't need to give him insulin. If he's not alcoholic, he doesn't need to be here. But we have to get the evidence from the families and from other people to see what the truth really is. Then hopefully we can help him to see that. He's got no problem with self-esteem. He's got a problem with the psychopathology of denial. And this is difficult. I respect every one of our patients who comes to tackle his or her own denial.